What is going on, Gamehouse? I am Germ here. We are back with another off-meta build strategy pick that we're going to be breaking down and going over. Today, as you guys can see up on the screen, we are talking about Draven. But this isn't AD carry Draven. This is Draven in the top lane. The gameplay that we're going to be looking at and talking a little bit about in this video is going to be from Broken Blade 69, and you might look at that and say, oh hey, this is G2's top laner Broken Blade. This is former TSM top laner Broken Blade. But unfortunately, you would be incorrect. This is actually G2's AD carry, Flockhead, playing the Draven top. Now, obviously, Draven is an AD carry. Flockhead is an AD carry player, so he got auto-filled up there. He decided to pull out the Draven top, just getting to play an AD carry. But Draven top actually has some merit. It's actually not too ridiculous, as we see them getting into a little bit of a level 1 skirmish here, where obviously Draven's going to be very, very good. He doesn't have any CC. He doesn't have any setup, but, I mean, who out there is dealing more level 1 raw damage than Draven? And there we go. He's able to pick up the early kill, the early first blood. That's a very, very nice start for Draven. But, yeah, Draven top, maybe not as crazy as it actually sounds. I don't know, depending on how crazy you guys think it sounds. Obviously, we know ranged top laners can be super, super annoying. Any top laner who plays tanks, fighters, bruisers, whatever, everyone hates to play against those ranged top laners. The Vaynes, the Lucians, like Nico's been a thing before. They're so frustrating. They're so annoying. Draven is in that same basket. And like I said, Draven hits like a truck. He is ranged, and he is going to poke you down and then try to kill you. And after he kills you, he's going to cash in all of his stacks. He's going to go get even more items, and then he's going to do it all over again. Now, obviously, Draven in the top lane suffers from the weaknesses that most of the other AD carries do. Now, if you look at like a Lucian or a Vayne, hey, they have dashes, they have a tumble, they have a little bit of mobility. Draven, he's just got to run. So if he gets overextended in that long lane, he is definitely susceptible to getting ganked, getting re-ganked, losing his flash, and getting punished, or even just getting run down in a long lane by some other champions with more mobility or a dash or something like that. But on Draven, what you can do, obviously, as a ranged champion, is you have the ability to set up the wave in favorable states. You have the ability to freeze on melee champions. And then you have the ability to hopefully push in your lane and start tracking the enemy team's jungler. You know, maybe getting a deep ward down, maybe having your jungler get a deep ward down, and going aggressive when you know that the jungler's bottom, or when you see the jungler's bottom or bot side, and also going aggressive when you know you have your jungler top side, because even if the other team's jungler shows up, you have a very, very strong champion that's going to be able to win a lot of 2v2s. Now you can see here, he does get ganked pretty early on in this one. But hey, sometimes you just got to stand and fight. And yes, Draven doesn't have a lot of ways to outplay these ganks. He's not going to, make some flashy escape or anything like that. But hey, you just start dealing out damage, you're going to be able to pick up some kills. So Flockhead with 2 early kills already here. What I did think was kind of interesting is when I started looking at Draven in the top lane and, breaking this thing down and seeing what was actually going on with it, is that the win rates aren't so bad. If you look at Plat Plus solo queue right now around the world, Draven AD carry, really strong champion. Draven's definitely in meta right now. He has a 51.03% win rate. And if you look at Draven top lane, he has a 50.96% win rate. So there's like a 1/4% win rate difference between Draven bot and Draven AD carry right now. Obviously, Draven AD carry is wildly more popular. Pretty much everyone would say it's a better pick. But Draven top in solo queue, Plat Plus, has an above 50% win rate. This thing is playable. This thing is good. So if you're a top laner who likes some crazy, frustrating, annoying, lane dominant picks, Draven might be for you. If you're an AD carry who gets auto-filled, Draven might be for you. If you're an AD carry or a Draven main or Draven player or whatever, and you're tired of being bot lane and getting 5-man dove at 10 minutes or whatever, Draven top might be for you as well. So yeah, I thought the win rate was kind of interesting. It might stand out to people. Obviously, when you get into a game, you always got to know what's going on with the runes. You got to be setting up yourself for success even from the very get-go. And just look at how much damage he's doing. I mean, yes, the Aatrox did not play that well. But like I said, this is Flockhead. He's a 1,000 LP challenger on this account. These are very, very good players he's playing against. And if he can make Draven top work at a 1,000 LP challenger, you guys can make it work in your games as well. But yeah, as far as the rune setup, what Flockhead decided to go with here, it was lethal tempo, which is very, very common on the Draven. He's going lethal tempo with presence of mind, legend alacrity, cut down, and then domination secondary with taste of blood and treasure hunter. Obviously going with attack speed, adaptive force, and armor. pretty standard stuff, pretty normal stuff. That's mostly, you know, a Draven AD carry setup that you see shifted up to the top lane. What I do think is interesting is that there's a couple different ways you can go. There is some people who like the lethal tempo Draven, most common. There is some people that like the Conqueror Draven as well. You're getting in extended fights, you're throwing a bunch of axes, you're catching a bunch of axes, you can stack up Conquer. That's going to give you more damage healing. You're going to be annoying. There is some people that like the Hail of Blades Draven. Obviously, you're an early game carry. You get up a couple of axes right off the bat. You can do a ton of damage. You can be really annoying. You can dominate lane even harder. But actually, the highest win rate for Draven in the top lane right now is press the attack. And obviously, press the attack is very, very good as well. You're able to get a couple axes off, and then they start doing even more damage. You start really killing some people. And in the top lane, where champions are going to be a little bit tanky, fights might be drawn out a little bit more. You know, it's harder to kill an Aatrox, or it's going to take more autos to kill an Aatrox than it is to kill like a Jinx in the bot lane or something like that. That's going to allow you to proc that pressy attack or the Conquer or whatever more often. So some of those runes might have a little bit more merit in the top lane. Now, obviously, lethal tempo is still very good, but hey, maybe you want to try out pressy attack as well. In the top lane here, Flockhead and many other people are going with the Exhaust on Draven. Again, that's very good. That's going to help you offensively and defensively. If somebody does dive onto you, they're trying to kill you, hit you, whatever, you can exhaust them. That's going to make them do less damage. It's going to help you kite away. You're going to be really annoying, and you're probably going to end up killing them. Also, when you're going aggressive, it can give you gank assistance. It can give you gank setup, or if you just want to run forward, you hit your W, you start sprinting, they're not going to be able to run away. You're going to get a ton of axes off. Exhaust definitely very good on Draven. I've seen people take barrier before, and obviously if you're in the top lane, TP is never going to be too terrible of an option, but I do like a more lane dominant summoner, because if you're picking Draven, it's not to TP into fights at 25 minutes, it's to win the lane and win the game quick, and I think Exhaust definitely helps you do that, and obviously it takes away one of Draven's weaknesses, which is going to be the susceptibility to getting engaged on, killed, blown up, whatever. So Exhaust seems really good. I would definitely take that. Flash Exhaust seems very normal, very standard to me. You can see there, he gets ganked. He gets killed by the Wukong, but they even had a Talia coming up for him too. You get overextended, it's going to be easy to want to, you know, farm some plates and stuff like that, but you really do got to watch out. As far as the skill order, this is pretty standard stuff. Q, W, E, maxing Q, then maxing W, finally maxing E, obviously putting a point in ult whenever you can, and then getting into the build for the Draven top lane. Flockhead started out with a Doran's Blade, a potion, and a trinket. He then built into the Kraken Slayer. Really standard Draven stuff. There is definitely a couple different mythic items or first items you can go on Draven when you look at some of the win rates for top lane. Kraken Slayer does have the highest win rate. It does seem to be the best, but Immortal Shield Bow, definitely an option. And Eclipse also seems really decent as well, but Kraken is going to be very good on the Draven, so I definitely agree with what Flockhead is doing there. As far as the boots, obviously Berserker's Greaves is going to be very standard. It's going to be very good. There is some people taking steel caps, there is some people taking mercs, there is some people taking boots of swiftness as well. It's really going to depend the team comp you're up against and what you think you're going to need to get through this game. You can see Flockhead ends up going with the steel caps in this one. We can actually take a look at the champions and stuff that he's up against. He's up against a Sivir, a Wukong, and an Aatrox. So, I mean, Sivir and Aatrox, maybe the steel caps are good here. I don't know. The other team doesn't have a ton of CC, so I don't really think mercs. I think he probably could have gotten away with Berserker Greaves in this game. But yeah, he decides to go the steel cap, so you know, you guys can see that. And then he decides to go with a second item, Bloodthirster, after picking up a Last Whisperer. I think it's fine. There is some people who are going Collector. There's some people going Blade of the Ruin King. But Bloodthirster's good. It definitely has a good win rate on him. And then, you know, you have third item options like Sorelia's Grudge. Some people are going Serpent's Fang, Maw, Infinity Edge. Rapid Fire Cannon's always a really good one on Draven. You know, you have Storm Razor. You have Lord Dominic's again. It really does depend on what the enemy team's champions are and stuff like that. But I would say that Berserker's Greaves into a Kraken Slayer, into a Bloodthirster is going to be pretty standard, and that's going to be good for you in most instances, in most cases. But hey, that's what's good about a lot of these picks, especially in Season 12 where we have a ton of different options, and that's what's good about Draven top as well. a couple different builds, a couple different summoners, a couple different rune pages you can go. You can really fit it to your team comp, the enemy's team comp, and your own play style and strategy, because obviously not everyone's going to play the exact same way or find the most success with the exact same rune pages. Everyone wants to act like there's one best thing and one way to play. I really don't agree with that, and I don't think that's what we see in solo queue at all. One more thing I will say to make one good thing about Draven top, I guess, too, is that you can hide it in draft. You know, if you see somebody pick a Draven, you're never thinking that's Draven top lane, so you can find yourself in some advantageous matchups. A problem with top lane is getting counterpicked a lot. You won't really run into that with Draven top lane a lot, but what I do want to say is you have to make sure that you keep your own team comp in mind as well. You probably want to make sure you have some magic damage coming out of at least one of your positions. You know, jungle, AD carry, mid, having at least one good magic damage dealer if you're going to be going with Draven in the top lane, and also making sure you have utility coming out of one of those other positions as well. You don't want to end up with 3-4 AD champions that all have no utility, because then you're just getting major draft gapped, and that's going to be really, really hard to win. But hey, if you have some supportive, tankier champions in mid, support, jungle, anywhere else, Draven top can maybe fit into a decent team comp still. It all just kind of depends, because we see a ton of different champions all over the place in Summoner's Rift in Season 12. But that's pretty much everybody's video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about Draven top lane, anything we talked about in this video, or another video you'd like to see me make. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to the Game House to stay up to date on all of our latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.